Has your adult child gone no contact? Are you feeling literally beside yourself and not even knowing where to turn, what to do, and how to handle this? You are not alone. I promise you that. And the first thing that I need you to do is to stop and to breathe and to be still for a minute, because you are not going to fix this in a day. You know, there are different reasons why our adult children choose to go no contact. But today, I want to talk about 4 tips for you and how to start navigating this season that you never thought you would find yourself in. And for some of you, this is going to be a very short season that you'll get through quickly, misunderstanding, etc. And others of you may be on this journey for a while. But regardless of how long you're on it, in this particular moment, we don't know the answer to that. But there's one thing that is the same regardless of how long this lasts. And that is that we need to learn some things through this trial, as do your kids, right? So here's a few tips for today. So let's dive into that. Number 1, support system. In the beginning, the stages of navigating this season, those support people might be your spouse, your mom, your dad, your sister, your best friend, right? The people that are already immediately in your inner circle. But you're going to quickly learn that everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. And they have every right to an opinion. But you have to choose who you want in your inner circle, because that is how important this is. The who you have around you right now, the negativity, the doubt, all of those things, you don't need those people in your world right now. I'm not saying cut them off, but those are not going to be your people, because you're going to quickly learn that those people don't know how to support you in this pain of being cut off from your child. It doesn't mean they don't love you, but this requires a robust support system and this inner circle of people. So I want you to consider joining a support group, especially for parents of estranged children, because that's going to provide you with a safe space where you also can learn from others and share with others, you know, these moms that are facing similar challenges. Now, as many of you know, I do have a group coaching program, and when the timing is right, where you're literally looking for that group and you're interested in actually doing the work for that, you know, then we will talk. But I want you to look for support. I want you to have some coaching or therapy, whatever you need. Then I would love to discuss that with you, that opportunity, when you're ready. But I want you to think of something before you reach out to me, or anyone else for that matter, because I want you to get support, whether it's with Sally or it's with Al-Anon or it's with whatever other group that you need, someone else's group. It doesn't matter where you get it, but you need, at the end of the day, you need to be comfortable with who is leading you. And personally, as you know, I have walked this road myself. This is personal experience that I have more years than I care to think about of experience, personal experience, and I've helped hundreds of moms. But at the end of the day, I just want you to have support. All right? So bottom line is, don't go this alone. Because in the beginning, we have that shame, we have the embarrassment. We're like, oh my gosh, what do you mean my child won't talk to me? I don't want to tell anybody that, right? Do not go this alone. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We just need to work through the situation. So number 2, don't let resentment win. We've talked about resentment here before, and I know you may be feeling that anger, the bitterness, that your son or daughter could literally cut you off, but I don't want you to do that. In response, I don't want you to let that resentment win, because you being resentful and letting that resentment win is going to prevent the future relationship, because you're going to have moments where you feel that way, and it's normal. And because then you're going to have moments where you're sad, and that's the grief process. If nobody has ever told you that before, because I know for me personally, years back, I was sitting in a therapist's office many years ago, and I remember trying to explain all the emotions I was having and feeling. And because at that point, I thought grief was just when someone passed away, you're grieving, because that's how it was always portrayed to me when I was younger. And I couldn't explain or understand why I was feeling all these feelings, and it kept jumping around. And because the grief process is not linear, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's going to handle it differently. But I felt like I was going crazy, but really I wasn't. I was just in the grief cycle. So that might be you. So what does that look like, right? What does that look like to not let resentment win just because they're pulling back? Maybe they have or haven't said exactly, do not contact me, right? Maybe they haven't said that. Maybe they're just pulling back, and then in return, you get resentful of that, right? You don't want to do that. Two wrongs don't make a right. Maybe it's just less communication. It doesn't mean that you should do that in response, unless, like I said, you've been specifically asked not to for a season. I don't personally think that's the answer, but you definitely need to be mindful about it. You need to be mindful about what you do send to them and how often, whether it's a text or messages or whatnot, the occasional text, because you don't want to be intrusive with your messages. You just want to express love and openness to having a discussion, communication without any pressure. Putting pressure on your child right now is going to push them further away. So they need the time that they need to process whatever it is that they've got going on. It may or may not have anything fully to do with you. We don't know. So for those of you that are ready and you're like, I need some coaching, I need to join a group, or I need one-on-one coaching, when you're ready for that, there is a pinned comment here right below, and it's also in the description. It's a link for a discovery call, and that's a consultation with me. It's not a coaching call, but it's an opportunity for me to learn how this is affecting you, and I can share with you my best recommendations on how I could help. So I look forward to talking to you when you are ready for that. Number 3, don't feed the anger. You know, we talk about the grief cycle, and I want you to know that it is natural to feel angry or betrayed, but we can't allow the emotions to dictate our actions, because that will further damage the possibility of mending this relationship. We've all done it, right? When you're feeling hurt and angry, those are the times that you definitely do not want to reach out, because you need to channel that anger constructively through exercise and things like that. Get outside, go for a walk. Don't let your anger, those bad emotions, don't let that spill over into the interactions with your kids. And then number 4, focus on yourself, not your child. And I know a lot of you are thinking, how in the world am I supposed to do that? Because they're all I can think about. And I can understand that. You're thinking, I just need this relationship fixed so I can move on with my life. I hear you. I do. I hear you. I see you, because I was you. And I also know that when this happens, we're not focusing on our own pain or our own hurt or our own past or things that are our responsibility. When we're not doing that, that is going to prevent you from living a fulfilling life yourself, because it starts with this crazy cycle of emotions, right? That it feels crazy. It feels, not that you're crazy, but it feels like I'm going crazy. I know I felt that way. These emotions that you can't seem to get away from. And then over time, as many of you know, and this happened to me too, but it turns into physical ailments. Your health will be destroyed. And I know a lot of you are already dealing with that. As you know, I so needed to invest in myself during this time, and it's the total opposite of what I did. I did the complete opposite. I did more things to harm myself than I did to better myself. But that is the best thing you can do for you, for your child, and for your relationship. So if you can look at it that way, because you can't pour from an empty cup, you are going to respond negatively when given the opportunity. If you are not fulfilling your own cup, if you look at it that way, if you're not fulfilling your own cup, what are you going to give? We can't give what we don't have. And all that resentment, the anger, all these emotions, the grief is going to affect how we show up. It's going to affect how we respond. And when given that opportunity to reconcile, right, how are we going to act? Are we going to be able to listen? Are we going to be able to have a really good conversation, communication? You're not going to be at 100% if you don't focus on you. So hope that helps. Take care. God bless. I'll see you in the next video.